Hey everyone, welcome back to the HeelCast. I'm Brother Underscore, and this week I am joined by TNA's most famous fan and newest HeelCaster, the Chef himself. Chef, how's it hanging, bro?
I'm good, brother. Excited to be here. We're about to drop some knowledge on these motherfuckers.
Damn right. Now look, speaking of dropping some knowledge on us, everybody who's anybody knows that you are at every single Impact taping. So you already know what we don't know. So my question to you is, we're not going to ruin it for the fans here because the HeelCast don't roll that way. But, tell us just a little about the taping results. Do we have some good stuff? Do we have some great stuff? What do we have to look forward to in the next couple months of Impact?
All right, I'm going to tell you first off, we do have two great things. I'm going to say two great things for sure. The rest of the tapings were, I'm going to say definitely good. But the Bobby Lashley, Eddie Edwards fight, definitely one of the best 30-man Iron Man matches, 30-minute, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I mean, this goes in my top 20 of all-time favorite matches. And it's kind of crazy for me to say that because I'm not even a fucking Eddie Edwards fan. This guy put everything online like they went to war. The Rosemary Jade match was fucking amazing. Like, at the end of the day, no bullshit. I wish Jade and fucking Rosemary could, main event at, an upcoming pay-per-view or something.
That's freaking awesome. Now listen, for those of you that don't know, Chef is not an Eddie Edwards guy. He actually had somebody create a spoof Twitter account for TNA Chef just to say that Eddie Edwards was great. So if Chef is saying this is a great match in his top 20 of all time, then you can imagine, guys, this is probably a match that we need to watch, DVR it, and rewatch it. Now look, speaking of some great things, we always got to give some love out there to some of our friends. Everybody over at tnasylum.net. Let's not forget FK9, King of the Mountain Radio, Andre Corbeil, and of course Chef. You got your Facebook site and your Twitter account. You want to plug those for us, buddy?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook as a TNA Mafia. And on Twitter, it's Chef_TNA Mafia.
Awesome. Now, look, not a lot of news this week, Chef, but we go from some good things to some sad news in our small TNA community. The passing of Chris Regal. Chris was one of the founders of TNA Mecca and actually wrote for TNA Asylum as Shelbin years ago. Chris is an incredibly passionate TNA fan, will be sorely missed throughout the TNA community. Apparently, he'd been suffering from cancer for about 18 months and didn't tell anybody. So, really sorry to hear that. Our prayers and hearts go out to Chris's entire family, everybody over at Mecca, and everybody that knew the guy.
Absolutely. I mean, you never want to hear anybody, sad.
Yeah, it really is. Life's short, and it's really sad to see anybody go. Especially at a young age. So, at any rate, our condolences to the entire community. Just some terrible news. I literally, my heart skipped a beat when I heard it. I was like, this is like, holy moly. In other news, we have Matt and Jeff Hardy have announced that they're going to be wrestling for tag titles around the world, actually. Apparently, they've already won the Crash tag titles in Mexico. Jeremy Borash was there filming from ringside. And Chef, another one of their matches that they're going to have is they're going to be wrestling for the Maryland Championship Wrestling Broken Anniversary show. They're going to be wrestling for their tag matches. And myself and Dudette will be at that show. We're going to be sporting those HeelCast shirts that have the logo that you did for the HeelCast, buddy. So we'll be in the third row and hopefully get some HeelCast love out there.
Man, that's fucking awesome, man. You guys are going to enjoy a hell of a show.
I think it's going to be great, too. I'm just wishing that we had the talent that you have to create another HeelCast sign and get it out there. With us, it'd probably be on back of a piece of cardboard from a box that came from Amazon or something. It said HeelCast, more like an NWO sign that what she did for the HeelCast, man, because that sign was freaking awesome. But we did have shirts made up. We got the small logo on the front, the big logo on the back. So hopefully we'll get a little love out of that. But definitely looking forward to that show. And what is your take on what Matt and Jeff are doing with this? How do you think that this is going to work, and what do you think it's going to bring to TNA?
Oh man, you know what? Like, I have no idea if these guys are winning belts around the world. How fucking crazy would it be if they like showed up at the Impact Zone with like just belts from all these other companies, like just looking ridiculous? I think it'd be dope as fuck, but I don't even know if Impact will let them do that shit. But I think it'd be crazy for them to be sporting Mexico belts, and the one you're going to, I think he said AAW, whatever. I just think it'd be crazy to just walk in with tag goals from around the world.
I think it would be awesome, and I think it's good for these small promotions too. I think it's great to get crash some notoriety in the United States. I think it's great for Maryland Championship Wrestling. They've worked with all the major promotions in the past. You know what? Put them on the show. Let everybody see what Maryland Championship Wrestling's all about on Impact. And then, as a result, Matt and Jeff get to come to the ring with these tag titles to say, hey, we're the best ever. And then when they go back to Maryland Championship Wrestling and job the titles out, then they can say that their tag team beat the best tag team, and they get the notoriety. And by the way, everybody that's at that MCW show is going to be watching Impact just like these other shows. So to me, this is a win across the board for everybody. I think it's absolutely fantastic to see Anthem reaching out this way. I wish Dixie Carter would have done that. My guess is nobody wanted to deal with her. But I don't know. I love this concept, Chef, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the Broken Hardys to wrestle the Bucks of Youth. You got to be looking forward to that one because you know it's coming.
You know what? To be completely honest, like, I don't like the Young Bucks. I really don't. But the Young Bucks have such a huge following, and this is where, like, I could take the dislike for a group for whatever reason, because to me they're just like they're like a 2000s version of the Rockers with Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels from back in the days. But anything to put more eyes on Impact Wrestling is all a positive.
So that's the way I look at it. They're definitely, the Rockers or the Rock and Roll Express, which, they're cut from that cloth. I did not care for them at all when they were Generation Me years ago in TNA. I thought that they were just a bunch of whining little brats. But they grew up, and they actually came out and said, we realize now we were just a couple of whining little brats. And they grew up, they had kids, and they had that cult following, like you're saying. And I think that, getting them on there could help to put some of these niche eyes on the product, which is exactly where TNA is going to be going as they move to, a show that's honestly distributed via an app as opposed to major network television in the next few years. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. Other things to look forward to. Next taping is from March 2nd to the 9th at the Impact Zone. Is that correct, Chef?
Yes, sir. Yep.
You're going to be there, right?
Yeah. It's definitely correct. That's the 2nd to the 9th.
Awesome. And you'll be at each taping?
Well, hopefully, depends, because now I'm working in Universal, so I know I missed like one taping early, like Saturday, and I got to all the rest of them.
Cool. So you work at Universal, so for you it's just like I just waltz over on my lunch break, or I come to work a little earlier, I stay a little late. That's a pretty cool place to work.
Yeah, like that's kind of how it happened too. Like, I literally was like, my Sunday night, I was like, all right, and everyone's like, yo, you gotta hurry up, fucking, DCC is about to pop out, and I'm like, shit, like, I literally was just clocking out, and I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna run, change real quick, I mean, I got fucking, it was cold, so I got like a fucking hoodie on. I forgot to take my mask, my DCC mask off. So I'm running through fucking Universal Studios with a fucking DCC mask, a gray hoodie, baggy pants, like I'm about to rob the joint.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, do you get free tickets on your off days? Or do you've had enough of it and you're not interested in going to the park?
Nah, believe it or not, like we moved out here. I think we're gonna be out here 2 years. I think it's two years or something like that. And we bought our annual passes, and when we first arrived, we were like there like 40, 50 times the first year. Then I literally just started working there in December, so I was like, we were still there. Like I love the park, man. We live in Universal. Like it's at a point where now when I'm walking around and someone's like, hey, do you know? And they try to show me a map. I'm like, look, get rid of the map. Everything's over here, here, here. Like, I love the fucking park, man. It's amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I got to tell you, if there's the best places in the world to live, Orlando's got to rank right up there. I mean, you got all the cool attractions, and you've got great weather all friggin' year round, man. So,
oh yeah,
that's freaking awesome. So, not much other news this week. The only thing that we've really got are that the reports are that the Hardy contract and the Galloway contracts, they're expiring next month. So, what's your take on that? I mean, do you see any of those three guys leaving the company?
The only one, honestly, that I think might go, and he's the one I don't want to go, is Drew Galloway. There's reasons I don't do spoilers, but like there's little hints that I kind of seen that I was like, damn, I hope he don't go. Like I've asked people that kind of know, like, hey, do you know anything? They're like, no. But I thought maybe Matt might go, Matt and Jeff, but then talking with other people, they were like, maybe Jeff would go, and I'm like, well, there's no way that Jeff would go without Matt or vice versa. Like, I think that if you're going to get one Hardy Boys, you're getting both of them. And I think right now with the broken universe or whatever they want to call it besides the Brilliance thing, I don't think, honestly, I think it's working so well. Matt's having another kid. I don't think he wants to be on the road while, his wife is having a baby. So I think, honestly, with all that and TNA, Impact Wrestling, whatever, is giving him his free reign of his character. I mean, Vince McMahon's going to fucking chop that shit up and destroy that shit over the next 6 months if they sign there.
See, I agree with you completely. I mean, I look at it this way. What a sweet deal that the Hardys have. I don't know how much they're making an Impact, but they're making a heck of a nice living, right? And they're working like 4 or 5 weeks a year, right? They're home whenever they want to be after that. If they want to go run an MCW show, they can. If they want to go to Crash, they can. If they want to go, to Evolve or wherever they want to go wrestle, they can if they want. But they got enough money coming in that they don't have to. They can just enjoy being with their kids. They can be the center of the show, right? But they're still not putting the work on their body that they would if they went to WWE. If Jeff goes to WWE, he's not going to get to wrestle once or twice a year or for just a few weeks every now and again. Vince is going to want him there. They kill their character like he kills every other damn thing. I mean, let's face it, you said it the best. Vince would just destroy the damn thing. So, to me, if I were Vince, I'd try to get one or both of them just to break them off from Impact and, make sure that I nip that shit in the bud. But I'll be honest with you, I find it hard to believe that would actually happen. Galloway, on the other hand, that's an interesting one. Galloway said since he, hurt himself that, he wants to make as much money as he can in as short a period of time because he realizes that he can't do this forever. The question that I have with Galloway is how much is this just him posturing? Because in reality, unless he went back at WWE, which is not anything I've heard rumored, he can still work the Impact schedule and do anything else he wants to do, just like the Hardys. So I kind of look at it and I kind of say to myself, well, logically speaking, if he wants to make the most money possible, to me, that's either working in WWE exclusively, or he goes to TNA for a spell, and then he can go Japan, he can go to Europe, he can go wherever he wants to. To me, the TNA money's gravy for him, too. So I don't see the Hardys leaving. I could see Galloway leaving. My heart tells me no. Right? I want both. I want all three of them to stay. I guess time will tell. Time will tell on that one.
The
So
thing with I just wanted to say the thing with WWE is that I don't know if you follow ICW, but ICW literally just signed to be on the network with WWE. So I don't know if he could still wrestle there, still being like an Impact guy in ICW, because technically Vince will be like, well, look, that's an Impact guy, and I don't want him on my network. I don't know how that all works for like guys like Bram, Grado, and Drew Galloway.
it's interesting. Does EC3 wrestle over there at all? I want to think he
Nah, he
wrestles
doesn't.
sometime.
I think he might have done Progress, but that has nothing to do with ICW.
Gotcha. So yes, that's interesting. At that point, he would have to decide: can I make more money doing ICW, or can I make more money doing TNA, or whoever else is on WWE Network? And is Vince gonna care, or is it just Vince's way of saying, "Great, I'm gonna get this guy who's already got a following on my show"? That's interesting. I don't think TNA is in much of a position to say to Drew Galloway, "No, you can't wrestle at ICW at this point." I think if they want him, they have to let him do that. So that's interesting. It's an interesting point. So let's hit into the Impact, right? They start the show off with the race for the case, right? So this is like a modified Feast or Fired. So Chef, I gotta say straight off the bat, I did like how they actually showed the ring entrances for the Hardys, DCC, and Bennett. The order that they entered was kind of interesting, particularly since there's talk about Mike Bennett already just being on a day-to-day basis with the company. But what did you think of this match and how it was how it transpired?
You know what? To be completely honest, when I found out that DCC was going to be in it, I was just kind of excited. Like, all right, at least I get to see my guys do what they're going to do. I wasn't. It's just they did say it was a race for the case, but like we don't hear Josh Matthews or Pope or anything. Like you don't even hear them in the Impact Zone, so you don't even know what the rules are, or what the fuck is going on. You're like, all right, it's a case, and whatever happens. But I mean, I had no problem with everybody who won or how they won their briefcases. I mean, I thought the match was decent. I'm not going to say like I sat back and was like, oh my God, this match is fucking incredible. I mean, it was a decent match, and I dug the winners. I mean, it was obvious who, except for Trevor Lee. I was kind of hoping Mike Bennett came down with one, just because I'm a Mike Bennett guy, and I'm just tired of him jobbing out. But I mean, I figured the Hardys would get one. I figured DCC would get one. I knew Eli Drake was going to get one. And the last one, I was like, I'm in. Let's hope it's Mike Bennett. I have no problem with Trevor Lee. I like Trevor Lee, but it was a decent match.
I thought it was a decent match too. Like I said, I found the order of the entrances to be interesting. They seemed to be not pushing Bennett much, but they gave him the final entrance. I kind of laughed when I saw Tyrus coming out there. It's like, oh, so I guess he's not the fixer anymore. I mean, let's face it. For literally months, they treated us right, and I say that pretty loosely, to these stupid infomercial type things from the middle of the night with the Fixer 188, the Fixer, and they showed Tyrus, and it was so freaking stupid, and they never did anything at all with it. Just ran these stupid commercials like they had nothing else to do with that 30 seconds. And then he comes out and he's working with Eli Drake. It's apparently a build over from the One Night Only. And he helps Drake get a case. And Chef, this is what I really didn't get. Eli Drake gets a case. There's nobody else in the ring. Rather than Tyrus going, I think I'll take a case too, they just leave. Like, what's up with that?
Made no sense. Made no sense. I mean, it was one of the things that I was like, wow. If you're in a group and you win a case, you automatically like out of this match, like, because if I'm like Jeff, Matt, or DCC or Tyrus and Eli Drake, like I'm gonna try to get all 4 cases.
Damn right. I mean, because I'm looking at it, I'm going, well, I'll get one for me too. And oh, by the way, if I'm working for Eli Drake, we got two of them. I'll give you the better case if you're paying me. Whatever the deal is, it's like at least try to get one and then get kicked out. But no, they just left. I was happy with Trevor Lee getting a briefcase. I'm pretty sure we know what he's going to cash in with his. And I thought the Crazy Steve actually had a great showing in this match. I had no idea where Abyss was, though. I mean, they've got Trevor Lee and Andrew Everett in there, right? They got the DCC in there. But I'm like, where's Abyss? Why isn't he in here? It's just Crazy Steve. So immediately you knew, Crazy Steve, he's not getting a briefcase. Right? So it was sort of like, okay, I didn't get that either. Jesse Goddard's, Chef, I'd love to, you see him live all the time. I think the kid's got so much potential. I mean, I just really think he's got the ability to go far, but it feels to me like he just hasn't defined an identity for himself yet. Like he's still kind of like stuck in that whole, am I a part of the bromance or am I my own man type of thing? You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I mean, like, Jesse Goddard, it's funny because, like, I really never gave a shit about the bromance. And then my son just, like, when we moved out here, he just fell in love with Jesse Goddard. He was like, oh, man, this guy Jesse and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right. He's like, make a sign. We made a sign. And then, like, we got to meet Jesse Goddard. And then, like, it was so wild. And I like to tell the story now. I don't want to take up a lot of time. But, like, I had the sign up, and he's cutting a promo. And he turns around. He's like, don't leave. He literally comes, jumps over the thing, hugs my son, signs his stuff. So now my son is marking out, and then we just keep meeting Jesse Goddard like in random little spots. And he's just taking time to like talk to my son. And it was just so cool. Like, not only has this guy gotten progressively better, like he's one of the guys who I keep saying he fucking keeps improving on so many levels. But like, I try to tell people outside of wrestling, this guy's a really cool fucking dude. So I always root for him, even though like for some reason he always goes against people I like. And it's like, fuck, I got to root against the guy I actually like in person. Like he'll fight at Bram or whatever. But like Jesse Goddard to me is one of those guys that over the last year has just improved like almost more than anybody else in Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, for real, man. I mean, Jesse's just a guy that he's got all the potential, but I really think that Impact needs to go a little bit out of their way and actually say, Jesse, this is who you're going to be. And we're gonna split you from the bromance permanently. We're going to make you Jesse Goddard's. We're going to give you, even if they go back to that Adonis gimmick that they gave him, right? Give him something and let him run with it. I just see so much potential in the guy. And like you said, he's a heck of a nice guy and a stand-up guy too. Great with the fans. But alas, at least he had a decent showing. I thought it was really cool the way he dropped the briefcase and the DCC walked off with it. I mean, I like those nuances in matches. This is stuff that now that we've got better camera angles that you see more of. Years ago, in a live match, you can't necessarily do that type of thing because not everybody can tell what's going on. But I thought that was pretty cool. And then, of course, Jeff gets the last briefcase while, Matt's holding off Mike Bennett. The other thing I'll throw out about there, and I don't know if you caught this or not, but it was interesting how when Jeff came out, they wound up, or actually it was at the end of the match, I guess, they wound up almost playing his new song to its complete entirety as Josh and Pope talked over it. It almost made me wonder if that was maybe part of his deal, that they're actually going to get his music on the show, because they spent a lot of post-match time there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I heard the song, but I don't know, like, because, see, Jeff confuses the fuck out of me too, though, because you did have Broken Matt just say, I kind of released him from whatever, he did everything I needed him to do. The whole time, this whole broken thing, like 1 week he was broken, next week he was Jeff Hardy. It was just like Jeff Hardy really just confused the fuck out of me. So I don't know how much to invest into this, because I'm just so fucking confused with Jeff Hardy that I'm just kind of like, all right, Jeff, do what you got to do and I'll enjoy your match.
I think that's Jeff Hardy's character in general. You know, the charismatic enigma. I think that's what he likes to do. He likes to just confuse the crap out of people. But for some reason, like you said, you know, we're all always entertained by the guy. You know, it's something that he uniquely can do. That, you know, if Eli Drake, as great as Eli Drake is, tried to do that, you just be like, dude, doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now,
No,
look,
I agree. I mean, it's like he's the only guy who can really pull that off.
now, speaking of pulling things off, you've already talked about this Iron Man match. You've already said this is the top 20 match of all time. Must-see match. You know, they go from this and they go into this promo with Eddie and Lashley. To me, this was a nice setup for the 30-minute Iron Man match. I got to tell you, Chef, I am so freaking happy that you're telling me this is a can't-miss match. Because honestly, I feel like I've seen these guys so many times, as good as they are together. Yeah, it's like one more time with the same two guys, but they did set it up well. And you're telling me this is something that I'm gonna be really excited about when I get to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Like, to be completely honest, I can't even keep talking enough about it. I mean, I watched it, and it's one of the matches. There's very few matches that I've watched that I was like, damn, like I can't wait to rewatch this on TV. Like, I mean, it's one of those things that I wish I was that asshole in the crowd that just recorded it, because, you know, you can't record nothing there. But I literally was like, man, I should have been that dick to record this shit, because I need to watch this again, like now.
Wow. Now I'll tell you who I wouldn't mind watching again now, and that's Brooke. And after that, you know, we did get some setup between Brooke and Maria, but she took on Deonna Purrazzo. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Deonna or what, but she's a young gal, and she's supposedly very, very, very good young talent. In fact, I saw her on a match in Ring of Honor. I'm a little behind on my Ring of Honor matches, so I literally watched it earlier this week, where she took on one of FK9's favorite, Candice LeRae, in Ring of Honor, and actually beat her. And she put on a great match in ROH, and I think she did pretty nice against Brooke here too.
Yeah, I mean, this was a good match. Like I said, I've heard people go, "Oh man, there was some ring rust." I think Brooke looked real good, you know, from just coming back. And I mean, she looked good to me. And I don't mean like, obviously she's a hot chick and all that, but I mean like in ring, she looked really solid to me. Deonna, I'm not even sure if she's on this like kind of like a Cody Rhodes thing, because she literally tweeted out, and we kind of had a back and forth, that she wrote free agent. And I was like, oh, but, you know, really cool to fucking be on one of these three things, because she was on, I think she did NXT also, or like Raw, whatever. I don't know which one it was. ROH, NXT, talented, and I think she likes the fact that she's not tied down to anyone, and she can just go on her world tour, whatever she's doing.
Yeah, because like you said, she was tweeting, you know, hey, look, definition of free agent. I go where I want, when I want. And you know what? Congratulations to her. You know, she's a young gal making her way, and she's getting on TV literally everywhere. Seems to be, you know, a hot, you know, up and coming talent, and it'd be nice to see TNA, you know, sign her. At the same point in time, you know, they just completely revamped this division, and to have somebody like her kind of come and go. I mean, that's kind of what I want to see them do more of. I want to see them have more people like Cody Rhodes, more Deonna Purrazzo's. I want to see them have people that come in for a set of tapings, tape a couple matches, have a small feud. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. I don't want them to be jobbers, okay? And then they're gone. And then maybe they miss a couple tapings, and then they come back a little bit. And so what you get is you do that with a few different talents every time, and now you've got a much larger roster, but it's totally fresh. I thought Brooke looked great. This was no 5-star match by any stretch, but that's not Brooke either. I mean, you know, she's just not going to give you the 5-star match. But the one thing that I will say that I really, really appreciate is that Brooke had, I'm taking no shit attitude with you, Maria. You know, I don't give a crap about you. I'm a 3-time knockouts champion. I don't need your crap. And it's such a wonderful pace. As much as I love the whole Alley story, all we get are people just oh, Miss Maria, they're all afraid of Maria. Brooke comes in and she's like, I ain't scared of you, bitch. I will say when she had her hair up, she looked like a bit of a conehead, though. She did. I mean, come on. The hair was like straight up in the air. I was like, Jesus Christ, is this out of freaking Star Trek or what's going on here?
You know what? But I agree with you that it was real nice to see somebody like just kind of put Maria back in her place. I mean, but you don't see Maria doing that shit with Rosemary. Neither. Rosemary slapped the shit out of her.
Oh, Rosemary, just ignore her. Rosemary would be like, what are you saying? I'll take you outside, tie your ass up, and put you in a cage or something. Like we've done that before. But it was just nice to see Brooke just go, I know who you are, and I don't give a shit who you are. Now do something about it. The thing I don't like about this, though, is, and I know Raven Effect, if he were with us this week, he'd be all over this, but Sienna is a hell of a talent. And it feels like Sienna is just going to be the one that does the work while Maria runs the story. And I'd really like to see Sienna get an opportunity to run her own story. Instead of just being, Brooke's, muscle. Or I'm not Brooke's muscle, sorry. Maria's muscle.
No, I agree. I mean, Sienna, like you said, I mean, this chick is a fucking hell of a talent. I mean, I liked her title run, even though it wasn't as long as I expected. But, I mean, she showed a lot. Like, Sienna's a fucking badass chick. Like, she could put that work in it. And just to be kind of like Maria's goon is like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Now, look, from here, we go to the race for the case. And they are back in the Fact of Life set. And now Tyrus is going to speak for Eli Drake. And we've got the DCC out there. Of course, they have to be wearing their masks. We've got everybody raising their hands, when they say who's representing the DCC, including Trevor Lee, which I thought was kind of funny. The DCC start acting like mimes. Look, Chef, I'm as big a DCC fan as you are, but didn't it really seem like they were making a mockery out of the DCC at that point?
You know what? Like, it shit kind of annoyed me. I'm not even going to lie, because I was like, you're trying to be these guys that, beat the shit out of anybody, take anybody out, whatever gets in your way, we'll beat the shit out of them. All of a sudden, it's like, well, when did y'all become slapstick? It made zero sense to me that out of all people, when you got Jeff Hardy, who could be Itchweed, all these other characters where he could be kind of silly and funny, the DCC, like the bad guys on the block, are all of a sudden goofy.
And Trevor Lee, too. I mean, Trevor Lee, isn't he supposed to be some sort of like a caveman? And he starts raising his hand like he's representing a DCC, too? I mean, admittedly, I laughed out loud when Trevor Lee did that. I'm not going to lie to you, Chef. I thought that was funny, but it's also stupid funny. It wasn't like funny. It was stupid.
You know what? With Trevor Lee, though, to be completely honest, I've seen Trevor Lee a lot outside TNA, and that's how Trevor Lee acts. So honestly, it didn't even dawn on me until you literally just said it, because he's such a funny character outside of wrestling. Like, he's so fucking cool and funny that I was like, oh, that's Trevor Lee that I see outside TNA. But now that you said that, I'm like, oh shit, wait a minute, you're right. His character is supposed to be this no nonsense, walking all tough, making that crazy little snarl looking face thing.
So you probably didn't pick up on this at all, but Trevor Lee also talked during this segment. Because I was like, holy shit, the guy talks.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, but like I said, the thing about it though is I've seen I've seen this guy a lot outside Impact Wrestling. So I've heard him talk, I've heard Everett talk, like I've heard these guys speak. So it literally was like, it was normal, and I was like, oh, and like I said, literally until you said, well, wasn't it funny to see Trevor Lee I was like, wait a minute. oh shit, yeah, he's not supposed to be acting like that until literally right now.
Dang, that's funny. So, I mean, honestly, if he's that kind of a character, they'd let him be a little more of himself then. I mean, honestly, because I thought he was funny. I thought he was witty. I mean, I also thought it was hysterical how he was more interested in whether Drake's desk was mahogany than what was inside of his case. You know, he tries to unlock the case, but he locks it instead. And Tyrus is like, "Let me do that for you," and he just basically played a complete bonehead. Which it's not like Trevor Lee was trying to be the next genius Lanny Poffo. Right, but he wasn't like a bonehead either. You know, he was just this. I'm a caveman. I go out, I wrestle, I beat people up, and you know, Shane Helms talks for me. I was just like, what the heck, you know?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, like I said, honestly, I like the mahogany thing. I like the, raising his hand like he was DCC. Like me personally, I really enjoyed. Actually, it was like the only thing I really enjoyed about that segment was literally Trevor Lee.
I have to agree with you. I thought the rest of it was pretty dumb. Like we talked about, the DCC becoming mimes, it was just like, you guys are a bunch of badasses, or this is just stupid. In fact, I'm looking at my notes, and it says, DCC acting like mimes, really stupid. And this is what I'm writing as I'm watching it, you know? Because it was, but then I was like, but Trevor Lee's actually talking, you know. The whole thing was kind of dumb. Do you think that they did this because this wasn't taped during the show? That they taped this outside, so they figured they could pipe the laughter in, or did they actually tape this? Was this something that you were able to see in the tapings, or they taped this outside the tapings?
No, I didn't see it. I didn't. Yeah, no. I think it was still in the Impact Zone, but I think they literally. I think they shot this like prior to anyone even being there, because you don't hear nobody cheering except for the obviously the fake audio of like the old school kind of TV show kind of, oh, everybody clapping and shit. You don't hear absolutely nothing but that,
Right, exactly. So so that was my take on it too. I thought that it was it was pretty kind of awful. At any rate, from there, we move on, and we're getting into this backdrop with Braxton Sutter and Allie and Maria, right? So this is stuff that obviously was all taped backstage, but they kind of went through some of this throughout the night. They started where Maria is confronting Braxton Sutter and says that he needs to break it off with Allie. And apparently, Chef, it sounds like she's got something on Braxton Sutter, but we just don't know what it is yet. Is that kind of the read between the lines?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely say that, but to be completely honest, I don't even know why this is still there, because didn't Allie already win her way out of being with Maria?
You got me. That was a while back. She got fired, I think, and so the only way she'd get a job is if she got a job wrestling, and then she won the match. So I don't know why she's still pandering to Maria. I just found it odd that Maria's got something on Braxton. We don't know what it is. I'm assuming we're going to find out over the next couple of weeks what it is.
Well, I mean, you know what? I love Allie. Everybody loves Allie. But like, I'm a super fan of LVN. And in the Impact Zone, we don't see the backstage stuff. So I only get to see the backstage stuff when I watch it on TV. So if there's something that they did backstage, I have no clue. It's one of the cool things of not knowing what's up. But I hope it's something really cool, because fuck, I love LVN, and I think she's been an incredible talent so far.
She has been great. You know what I will say? Of all of these, I think that Braxton Sutter has been the least impressive. But I'll say this, I'm watching Braxton Sutter backstage with Maria, and I'm going, wow, Braxton Sutter's actually kind of almost interesting here. And then I'm like, well, go figure. He's opposite Maria. I could be interesting opposite Maria. I honest to God think if you put me in front of Maria Kanellis, I could. Now, who am I kidding? My tongue will be on the floor. But seriously, I think Maria is so good. I think she's taken a guy who's not that interesting and actually made him, interesting.
And fucking crazy part about that is you always see people on like social media or you see people boo her at the impact zone. And I'm like, yo, first off, she's doing her fucking job if you don't like her. But I just hate the fucking people that sit there and be like, oh, this chick is overrated. First off, I don't know how the fuck anyone will ever say Maria's overrated when she gets anybody around her over. And like you just finished saying, a guy, now I like them as Pepper Parks, so I know Pepper Parks for a while. A guy that people really did not give a fuck about. And I've had a few people tell me, yo, he actually was pretty good backstage. Yeah, but it's exactly like you said. He was pretty good backstage because he was sitting next to Maria Kanellis, who makes everybody fucking good.
She's on fire, man. You know, we talk about, you know, them being on a appearance deal right now. Gotta hope they keep them, and I hope they keep her long term too. You know, for all we know, you know, she's looking to get out, do other things, and start a family. But my God, keep her in some freaking way, shape, or form. You know, we eventually get treated to, you know, Braxton breaking up with Allie. Again, he's no longer alongside of Maria, so he's not quite as interesting again. There was just definitely a drop off from the level of interest there to the level with him being Allie. I thought Allie sold it fantastically well, and it was meant to be an awkward moment, to be fair to Braxton as well. And then the next thing you know, he's with Laurel, and he's not happy about it at all. So kind of leads you to believe that, you know, Maria's got something over his head, and she wants him with Laurel. And, you know, in a lot of ways, you look at this and you go, this is a storyline. It just doesn't look like it's getting ready to end. But, you know, it's also been one of the best storylines that they've had in the past year, Chef. So do we want it to end?
Nah, honestly, I don't think it should end. I mean, it's been pretty good. So, I mean, I'm with it. I want to see it for a little longer. I want to see it. Honestly, I just want to see more of LVN. I want to see the Allie getting over. I mean, she's over already, but like, you know, to keep progressing and eventually, hopefully, we can see Allie as Cherry Bomb, which everybody's been wanting. So, however long it has to take, look, we're throwing Braxton in. You're throwing a little more flavor in it. So, yeah. I mean, you know, shit, give me this shit for another few months. I don't even care.
You make a really good point. You know, LVN has been a great pickup and a great talent for TNA so far, but I think that the fans don't really see it so much because who's she been opposite? She's been opposite Maria, and she's been opposite Allie. So she's kind of been the third wheel in this, and it would be really nice, and it will be really nice to kind of see her break off and maybe get some feuds, you know, of her own that she can actually carry instead of kind of being along for the ride. I mean, hey, look, it's a heck of a ride to be on. Do you know what I'm saying? But it would be nice to see what she could do sans Maria and sans Allie.
Absolutely. And, you know, I don't know if she'll ever hear this. You know, so if Laura Vaness hears this, all I want to say is thank you for actually turning around while the promo was there and posing for me so I can get my picture. I really appreciated that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, we hear a lot of that in the Impact Zone, and I don't think that people give these stars enough credit for what they do for the fans and how they interact with the fans. That's not something you're going to get in WWE. It just isn't.
Oh, no. I mean, like, anybody that's ever been there, it's not just me. Like, you know, there are two girls there that they're always there. They make a bunch of signs as well. They're like huge Decay fans. I've seen numerous times Crazy Steve walk up and like put his forehead to her, like the two twin girls' heads. Rosemary has interacted with them. Abyss has interacted with them. One of the coolest moments for my oldest son, we got a Decay sign, and Crazy Steve kind of just like paused, turned around, seen it was like his eyes kind of lit up like, oh, that's pretty tough. Licked his hand and then smacked the board. My son, you know, 16 years old, he's fucking marking out like, holy shit, Crazy Steve. I'm not a big Decay guy, but, you know, whenever these people can make your kids, you know, smile and all that, you get all excited. But, I mean, these guys are fucking amazing workers, though. And they do cater to their real Decay fans.
That's just a freaking awesome story. Chef, you are absolutely. We're gonna have to just do story time with Chef sometime. You know what I'm saying? That would just be awesome. I know. If, you know, I've talked to Raven Effect about it before. Man, we need to do a show where Chef just tells stories. We need to get that one booked, buddy, because I think that would be one heck of a show in and of itself. Now, that would be a great show. But I'll tell you what didn't make for a great show. Robbie E and Swoggle versus Aaron Rex and Spud.
Oh man.
Oh.
You know what? I don't understand the Swoggle thing. Like, I don't fucking get it. I got no problem with them. And now, I don't need, because I already have 6 fake chef accounts. I don't need some little person somewhere in the world hating on me for dissing a little guy. But, I mean, completely honest, like, I don't get it. I first off, I hate the fact that Spud's now a lackey again. When to me, Spud is one of the best talkers. He's funny. He's witty. He's bugged out. Like, Spud is a hell of a worker, and now you got him in this powder blue, Sergeant Pepper look. And I mean, it was like, what the fucking, and why is he tagging with Robbie E? Because this little bastard beat up fucking Spud somehow, and Robbie E got a problem with Aaron Rex, and it was like, what the fuck is going on?
So look at it this way. This is what it's come to, right? Aaron Rex wearing lipstick and wrestling Robbie E in a midget. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching Chef and going to myself, well, I guess he is doing it his way now, isn't he? I mean, that was his whole promo when he got there. I'm going to do it my way. And he is, but look what he is at this point reduced to. I mean, I know a lot of people think that this new Aaron Rex gimmick is like the greatest thing ever. I'm not buying it. I think it's a satire to the LGBT community. And look, I'm not the most politically correct or incorrect guy. I'm just not. But at the same point in time, I know people from all aspects of the LGBT community, and ain't none of them act like that. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I just don't freaking get it. And I feel like, they're making fun in some way of those people that really don't act that way. And then I look at this use of Swoggle, and look, you kind of have to put yourself in Swoggle's shoes. He's a little guy. He is limited to what he can do with his size, so he's trying to make the best that he can for his family. But all he's doing is making fun of himself. When 2 midgets wrestle, it's kind of cool. When a midget is in there with a normal-sized human being, it's just like you're making fun of the midget. And it doesn't do anything for anybody, just make fun of him. So you sit here and you say, well, I don't want to get, the crap, beat up on Twitter and fake hander accounts for picking on the little guy. I look at it and I say to myself, I just look at it, and if you reduce yourself to that, you kind of have to get that wrath if people so choose to put it on you. I don't. Yeah, I'm being honest with you, because he's bringing it all upon himself. Now I know he's trying to feed his family and everything else, but it's like, seriously, this is just dumb. My only hope is that they bring him in for a set of tapings. They drop him for a set of tapings. He comes back a couple times a year, and he just freshens things up, and then I have less of an issue with it. But we have comedy characters in TNA already, and to be honest with you, Chef, and you would know this better than anybody, but we haven't seen Grado in a while, have we?
No, Grado actually wasn't in any of these tapings, which kind of bugged me out, because I was kind of expecting it, but he didn't come out. I mean, it was weird. It was kind of like, well, like I don't know. I just didn't get why he wasn't there. I mean, there's so little amount of tag teams that, all right, fine. Jesse Goddard has nothing to do with the Bromans ever since Grado was there. So that's one less group. And then you thought maybe Grado and Robbie E would do something, but then now Robbie E's like revamped and he's trying to be more serious. There's just so many things, and like, not trying to go back to the Hornswoggle thing, but like,
he seriously has a tag team partner who's a midget. Yeah, right.
See, and that's the thing. It's like, that's the thing that's getting me. It's like, there's no hate on Hornswoggle or Swoggle, whatever. No, I mean, and I agree with what you say. He's just doing what he got to do to provide.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate on him. I think he hates on himself. That's my point. I mean, I don't hate on him. I actually really enjoyed that Hulk Hogan midget wrestling show that was out a while back. I thought it was cool following him around. I thought the characters were cool. I enjoyed watching their matches and the way they taped the show. I thought all that was cool, and I don't think that misrepresented anybody. But I do think how they're using Swoggle is misrepresenting in TNA. And I'll be honest with you, I think the segment would have been better if they would have put Grado in it. Now I'm sure that I am absolutely sure that my buddy kind of Incognito would disagree with me on that. But honest to goodness, I'd have rather seen him here. I did think that it was nice that they at least acknowledged that Spud had quit and then showed up the next week, right? I don't know if you caught that or not, but Josh actually acknowledged it. But I'm also sitting there, and look, no disrespect to Josh on this because he's just following the script, but he quit in week 1 of the tapings, right? And it was back in week 2 with no explanation. This is not something that you expect to happen that way. You expect him to quit at the last tapings and then show up at the next set of tapings or skip a set of tapings. But no. I mean, this absolutely made no sense.
No, I mean, I completely agree with you because literally, like, I think he quit, I'll say like a Friday night. And then literally like Saturday night, he came out again and I started kind of laughing. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I thought this guy quit. Like, it's like I thought you said, like, maybe he wouldn't, be in the tapings for the rest of the tapings or like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, wow, okay. And I'm a huge Spud guy. So I was like, oh man, he better not be fucking gone, but it was literally, I mean, to you guys, it's 1 week. To me, it was literally like 24 hours later.
Yeah, it's even worse for you. And I'm following it on the spoilers. I'm following it on Twitter, and he's saying, oh, yeah, I'm all done. I quit. And it's like, and you're back. And it's like, huh? And I totally expected to get some sort of an explanation as to why he was back. I expected they taped it out of order and at least a week in between. I mean, oh my God, keep us on the edge of our seats or something here. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. That is freaking unbelievable. But he's back. He's with Aaron Rex now. And, they're doing the comedy thing. And I think it's bad for Spud. I think it's bad for Aaron Rex. I think it's bad for Robbie E. And I think it's bad for Swoggle. I think that this is sucking for all of them.
I agree. I think this is just a horrible direction. Like, it just makes no sense. I don't understand Aaron Rex's Parliament, character. I don't know. I mean, and look, I'm from New York, where the Village is like the mecca of weirdness. And I thought I've seen it all, but this shit to me makes no sense.
Yeah, this shit's just bizarre. So hopefully they don't overplay this throughout throughout the rest of this set of tapings, and maybe when they revisit those things the first week of March that they make some changes or whatnot, because this is not working and not going to work. But speaking of things that did work for me this week, and I'm not a fan of this Grand Championship thing, but this was a main event that throughout the show, let's face it, Chef, they built this thing up. I mean, they kept going, and they're talking about the Drew Galloway debut and the Moose's debut, and it was really interesting to see that Kenny King's in the ring when Drew Galloway debuts. Like, oh my God, it feels like Kenny King's been in ROH now for so long. They show Moose debuting. They showed their best moments and their worst moments throughout the night. That let's face it, if you're gonna have a belt like this, you gotta give it some push. And it felt like they did that this time, didn't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I even tweeted it because there's someone I talked to there, and I'll never put her on blast, but right before Moose was gonna come out, she was like, yo, Chef, like, get your son to pay attention because he's like a huge Moose kid from ROH. Like, he loved Moose. And she's like, get him to pay attention more to where they're coming out. And I'm like, yo, look, go look that way. So he's just staring. When he comes out, it was so cool to see him mark out that honestly, I was like, oh, that's right. Like his debut was that shit, and I'm like, I don't know. Like I said, I got so many cool little moments, but it was really cool to see like where they came in from TNA and how it was started, and to show these guys come in, and once again, like a lot of people, who doubted Moose, you get to see where people were kind of like, who the fuck is this guy? And nobody really doing the Moose thing to like, now look at him now.
Honest to goodness, when they brought Moose in, the thing that I said was, and Raven Effect and I, we were putting our pitch to Moose to come to TNA. And I'm like, look, this is a guy that very clearly, I mean, the sky's the limit for him. But he still seemed a little raw. And this was a guy that they needed to bring in. They needed to take the time to work with him, to get him to go where he's going. And he came in, and I mean, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's nailing it right out the park, Now, admittedly, he was working with a lot better talent than he was working with in ROH, right? But he just started knocking it out of the park. And I love the way they built this up. I love the way that they've given him the mid-card title, given him some feuds, and given him some spots because they do have to work with him. He is not there yet to be the world heavyweight champion, right? But he has that capability to get there. And the way that they're bringing him along, it made him look like a star completely, man, along the way. The build of this match was fantastic. The match itself seemed like a good match. It seemed to me though like Galloway really kind of dominated Moose. Didn't it seem like he was a little bit more dominating? I mean, he did lose a point and then he pinned Moose, and the ending I thought was kind of like ish to it. But I mean, I don't know. I felt like the quality of the match. They have two guys that kind of belong in a division like that here.
I'm going to tell you, like, one of my favorite Grand Champion matches was a few ago where you had Mike Bennett and Moose. Like, that was like one of the dopest Grand Championship matches. This one, I agree with you. I was like, wow. Like, to me, honestly, and that's the weird thing that I started to notice. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we chant that never gets on TV. Like, we straight get edited because Judge 2 said that Moose had won, and he was like the deciding factor of that Moose won the second round. And we started saying like, Judge 2 sucks. Judge 2 sucks. And yeah, like, we're some savage motherfuckers in there. And, like it just felt like, well, I didn't think Moose won any round. And I think even as much as I don't like Josh Matthews, he even said it like, oh, I disagree with this. Like, I think that, Drew Galloway beat up on him in round 2 also. Like, it literally felt like Drew Galloway came back and just mopped him up.
Yeah, it did. And then he managed to lose a point, and then he pins Moose. And so, on one hand, it's like, we got Drew Galloway potentially leaving, but then he dominates and wins a title, which is a good sign if you want him to stay, and I do. On the other hand, it's kind of like, what about Moose? I mean, Moose is supposed to be that big badass that everybody figures he's going to be the guy to challenge, and have a big feud with Lashley down the road. Because Lashley has very few people that can, like, stand toe-to-toe with him, right? So we're all waiting for Luce and Lashley to just collide. And, Galloway can collide with Lashley, but he kind of already got his ass whooped, right? Then they get Moose just kind of getting dominating and pinned, and it's like, okay, so how are we supposed to believe that Moose is now going to go on and have a big feud with Bobby Lashley? Because he's that guy.
I agree with you. I mean, but in a lot of ways, Moose reminds me of that Lashley you were speaking about earlier. Like, when you're like, oh man, this guy can't cut a promo. Moose's promo skills are not that good. He's literally like, I'm going to beat your ass and, dead it. That's it. But, like, he's getting progressively better. And it's like you said, it kind of set him back because you're like, well, hold on a minute. Like, if you're going to build up this guy to eventually trump this, Trump Lashley, you really didn't do much justice sitting there having him just kind of get the shit kicked out of him by Drew Galloway.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit like Goldberg in WCW, right? He comes out. He goes on this tear. He's beating everybody. but they build him ever so, you know what I mean? Ever so slowly. He never talks. He never talks. He never talks. They work on his promo skills with him in the back. They get him where he needs to be, and then boom, he's this enormous star. And they don't have to build Moose quite that slowly. They can let him talk. He doesn't have to be undefeated. They can let him lose every now and again. But gosh darn it, if there's one guy that they need to protect, right? It's got to be Moose, because you get guys like Eli Drake, you get guys like Mike Bennett. These are character guys that they can take a setback because they've got all the pieces to put together. It's just a matter of them going on that run to get there. Moose, he's still kind of putting those pieces together. So why you wouldn't want to protect this guy who is honestly a franchise player in the making? And that was I think what I didn't like about this. And the other thing too is that I mean, I guess I get why they're doing the Grand Championship as the main event, Chef, but I don't know. It just still doesn't feel like this was a main event. It really felt like we lacked a main event in this one. Maybe the race for the case. I don't know. It just felt kind of lacking that way.
See, I definitely agree with you. Like, if they would have had the Mike Bennett versus Moose as the main event, everyone would have been like, yo, that was a sick fucking main event, because you had Mike Bennett and Moose, and they tore that shit up. This Drew Galloway match literally was like, if you're a Drew Galloway fan, you loved it. You were like, fuck, my favorite wrestler just beat the shit out of this guy. And you don't give a shit because, once again, that's your favorite wrestler. But, like, if you really are invested in Impact Wrestling and you're like, you want the best for it, to kind of crush this guy's build, because that's what it did. It kind of just made him look not as impressive. Kind of was like, oh, well, if Drew Galloway can mop him up like that, fuck, who's next?
Exactly. Exactly. And to me, the biggest thing is that they need to build people that are capable of going with Lashley. And right now, Lashley's pretty much run through everybody not named Eddie Edwards. And so after Lashley and Eddie Edwards finally finish this feud, wherever it ends, hopefully it's sooner than later, he's got to go somewhere. Okay, and unless he's going to go back to Bellator for a while and maybe miss a set of tapings, they have to have somebody that you think, oh, gee, this person can beat Lashley. And it's not going to be EC3. It's not going to be Eli Drake. It's not going to be Mike Bennett. It's not going to be Drew Galloway. They've got to have somebody for him. And Moose is one of those guys that can be built and can get into that role physically, because he is such a physical beast. So, yeah, to me, that was a bit of a problem. So, look, Chef, we've hit the whole show, man. You got any final parting, comments for this show, my friend?
You know what? I just wanted to say one thing that, once again, it's going to sound like I'm being a Bram homer, because that's the big homie. But Bram is 1-1. He's got 1 win, 1 loss versus Bobby Lashley. And if anyone's like physical enough to put that fight on him, I'm going to say my guy Bram is that guy to do it. Once again, people can call it the homer pick, but that's all I'm going to say, because my man literally is 1 win, 1 loss. And it was the match where he had the King of the Mountain belt taken from him with Eli Drake, because Lashley had hit him with the chair because he could not pin Bram. So if anyone looked real strong against Bobby Lashley when he started to go on that run, was Bram. Just throwing it out there.
And honestly, I think you make a great point. We'll talk about people that need to be protected. Bram's another guy that has unlimited potential. I mean, he really does. He's got the look. He's got the ability to talk. He's different, right? He's a bit of a beast. And James Storm as well. James Storm put on a great match against Bobby Lashley too. And actually pinned Bobby Lashley at the beginning of that match, and it just didn't get caught by the ref. So both of those guys, I suppose, are places for Bobby Lashley to go. But, I just see Moose as such a natural fit because he's so big. Now look, Chef, we got you here this week, man. All right. You got like one final story for the listeners. Just a cool Impact Zone story. Put you on the spot.
Oh man.
Story time with Chef Part 1, my friend.
You know what? I do got a cool one. The same day that literally I had said that Jesse Goddard had came over the thing to sign my son's autograph, wound up being EC3's birthday. And EC3 literally jumped over the railing, to like mingle with the fucking crowd instead of walking to the back. My son shows his sign, his EC3 sign, got his EC3 shirt. Fucking EC3 is rubbing his head. He's like, oh man, that sign is so cool. He's signing the shirts. Women are pulling. I mean, literally like ripping at fucking EC3 like they were gonna rape this dude. And I mean, he was just, he was one of the most awesomest guys. He literally was trying to just take pictures with like damn near fucking everybody that was trying to just jump into a selfie with him. And this guy was just literally on his birthday, instead of walking to the back having a good fucking time, just jumped into the crowd so he could sign some pictures, or sign some pictures, sign some signs and take some pictures. Like, he was fucking really fucking cool about it.
That's freaking awesome, man. That is freaking awesome. Well, look, everybody, that's all we got for this week. So, on behalf of the entire HeelCast, especially my partner in crime, Chef, this is Brother Underscore saying, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.